Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Snuff channel. In this video we're going to review week 10 of the 2024 NFL Dream Team season and another successful week for ourselves. Scoring a 573, which was another top 100 finish for the week. Not quite as high as last week, but 91st rather for the round. Seeing us jump up another 345 places. So inside the top 20% now, which is pretty nice. And hopefully we can continue that upward trajectory. But if we have a look at the team and how we've gone, just taking a minute to load. There we go. So you can see our captain, once again, Jalen Hurts, doing the business. I sort of watched the start of the game. It was a bit of a blowout. I saw they brought Kenny Pickett in for a bit, so I'd sort of given up on it. And then turned around and Hurts somehow managed to get 2 more touchdowns. I think one was a rushing, one was a passing. So he got himself to 61 points in junk time. You absolutely love to see it. Josh Allen with a 40, solid as ever. So yeah, got the 2 of the bankers there. Obviously, if you've got Lamar, you're set there as well. Drake May with a 24, so probably pushing towards his peak in terms of cash gen. Break even at 12 suggests he could lift again, but we aren't expecting him to sort of reach the heights of the premium quarterbacks, and that's totally okay. Derrick Henry with a 26, so I guess a bit of a lower scoring affair this week for Baltimore. Bijan Robinson plays for Atlanta, 55, including a touchdown, so that's a great return. Saquon was a bit quiet this week with just a 16, and Alvin Kamara, again, with no touchdown, just the 26. You know, the work rate is still there. Devon Achane we brought in this week for a bit of cash gen, and 15 probably wasn't quite, the amount of cash we were looking for. Didn't actually make any cash. I don't know how that works, but okay, cool. Yeah, don't know. I would have thought we brought him in on a negative break even, but that's okay. Yeah, just noticed there's nothing there at all. Weird. And Bucky Irving, 31, so still making us a bit of cash. Although with a break even of 20 and on the buy, if you wanted to cash him out or upgrade him, probably not the worst shout. Wide receiver, probably not just the trade of the year, but one of the greatest trades in the history of fantasy sports. And I'm sure there was other people who got on too. Lots of people already on. But Jamar Chase, 99 points. I think that was something like 4 touchdowns or something ridiculous. I'll see if I can work it out from the scoring. Season stats. Yeah, that's it. Summary. I need fantasy stats. So 52 from receiving yards. It must have been 3 touchdowns, 36 points. But I guess just ridiculous amount of receptions and yards. 11 receptions. So absolute day out. I think it was just a shootout. So I said Henry didn't score well. It was a high scoring game. I had it confused. It was just it was all about the pass game. So if you had Burrow or Lamar, you did well this week. Aside from that, not too much to report from our wide receivers. Justin Jefferson with uncharacteristic 14. Amon-Ra St. Brown hitting his average but dipping a bit in cash with the 30. Cooper Kupp, I was hoping he'd go off and get a couple of tutties today to get me in my redraft league, but just the 23, which is pretty solid. Don't get me wrong, for his price, that's pretty good. Lad McConkey with 12, and Malik Neighbours with the 16. And on the buy is probably one we can look to trade. Break even of 28. Obviously the Giants aren't offensive juggernauts. So McConkey, what was his break in 36? So it could be time to upgrade these guys, if you've got the cash reserves, I've got enough. It'd be one up and one sideways, but definitely one up, one down could be an option as well. Worthy leaking a bit of cash, and GG just hasn't got on the field, but not much we can do about it at this point. At tight end, we had Bowers on the bye, so we were forced to play Kelsey Laporta. Like, that's a bad thing. And Kelsey continues his great form with a 32. Laporta got a touchdown, 28 points. And then the kicker defence, once again, we've gone the wrong way. Cardi with a monster 38-point return. Pretty sure there was 5 field goals for the Rams. Again, just vague memory. I didn't really pay attention to the game today much other than how Cup was doing. Bates with just the 24. And Kansas City, somehow with their 9-0, still only managing an average of 12 defensively. Washington was $5 million cheaper at the start of the year, and average is pretty well consistent and outscoring the Chiefs this week. But we're not wasting our precious trades in defence, so no need to sweat it. Let's have a look at the matchup for this week. So got the win over Mahomes Mahuto, Sir Thomas's team, by about 80 points. So if we have a look, he VC'd Lamar Jackson, so obviously that was counterbalanced by me having Jamar Chase early doors. And also, I guess, Jalen Hurts even, easy for you to say. Getting pretty close to that score was very helpful. Aside from that, I guess it really was Jamar Chase that was the difference just looking through. Played Cardi and Laporta, so as emergency, so that's pretty lucky, I suppose. But I mean, you left him on the bench. You had someone on the bye. I'm guessing. Well, Siebert didn't play. Interesting. And Brock Bowers was just looped as the captain, so that makes sense. But yeah, pretty handy to get 38 off your emergency kicker. But yeah, like AJ Brown 26 was okay. Tyreek Hill at 20, obviously nowhere near where he was this time last year. Very tempting price point at the moment if Miami can, continue to build some momentum. But looking across the league, so 572 for Cut My Balls is pretty close. Wacko Jacko with a 590. We'll have a quick look at Jackson's team. So he VC'd Jamar Chase. That is good gear. Has Josh Allen. The Philly defense was massive, 40 points. I think they had something like 5 fumble recoveries or something insane. Dallas just kept coughing up the ball, and the Eagles were there to swoop on it. Pardon the pun. But Allen, Kelsey, solid. As Bijan, which is nice. Nothing too out of the ordinary other than just the champion VC play. Any 600s would be insane. Not really. So, Hard Brock Life, I guess, beat me by a few. So we'll give Shane a quick shout out with Lamar, Bijan. Surely had Chase, yes. Had the Philly defense, which was probably, I guess, a good difference over myself, for example. Had Brian Thomas Jr. as the emergency, so probably even potentially a few points left on that table, although not at wide receiver. So just the way it worked out, I suppose. Fantastic. Might have a quick update of the league. It's been a while. After my slow start, I've somehow managed to get to 12th. So, top of the table, Hard Brock Life. So Shane killing it, 8-2. Jamie, his team Cut My Balls, looking very solid, 7-3. So, 2 of the highest scorers this week. Probably hard to topple going into the GFs, or the finals anyway. Timmy's caddy, so the defending champ, 6-4. Bin Chicken 6-4. I have to check in with the big fella, see if he's actually updated his team or if he's literally just had such a good team to start with. The TD Inspector's 6-4, so quite a few 6-4s, all the way down to 10th with Mahomes, Maudo, and I'm pretty sure I'm at 50% now. So 5-5. So even down to two girls, one cup in 14th. We're all chances of making the finals. I'm pretty sure it's top 8 from memory. League settings, let's remind myself. Yep, top 8. There is like the consolation finals as well if you're in the top 16. But I guess we all want to be in the big dance. Actually, I'll go back, just have a look at total points as well. Haven't looked at that for a couple of weeks. So a couple more balls still inside the top 100. Has that dropped a few spots or gone up? I can never tell with the plus minuses. It always confuses me. Let me have a look at mine. So plus is up. So it moved up into the top 100. So well done, Jamie. Timmy's caddies slid a little bit, but still in the top 150. Shane's moved up into the top 150. Bin Chicken's still in the top 200. Pretty decent. But yeah, definitely a few guys making some big leaps. Wacko Jacko, for example, jumped 400 spots. What was his score this week? 560. Yeah, I think he was slightly ahead of me anyway, so that's fine. Not too bitter. But yeah, nice one. All right. Anyway, let's look at the team for this week. Actually, before we do that, let's look at some break evens. I guess Jamar Chase would probably be the nice one. Already saw, I think he was something like -5. Imagine there'd be someone slightly better off, just given how expensive he is. So JSN, did Seattle have the bye? Or was he injured? I can't remember, but didn't play this week. I think he had the bye, so could be one to get on this week. Particularly looking to maybe a sideways trade for a McConkey, Neighbours, those sort of guys. Tillman, I think, was on the bye as well. So, he's got that hook up with Winston, who I guess if you're looking to sort of cash out on a May, take, that last bit of cash at quarterback, he could be your guy. Cardi, if you haven't got him and you want to waste a trade on a kicker, I wouldn't recommend it. Ricky Pearsall's an interesting one. I was pretty keen on him in the redraft league, but probably wouldn't have been an upgrade with the wide receivers I've got. I've got a lot of sort of very similar type options and try to mix and match because I haven't got any elite options. But yeah, he's very intriguing at San Fran. Although now with Christian McCaffrey back, may sort of limit his opportunities a little bit. The Pats defense, if you're looking to cash out on defense, not the strongest strategy, but could be an option. Benson on the bye this week could be a handy one for next week, although probably, had that bigger game last week. So he's still got a. Oh, sorry, that's because he's on the bye this week. Has a good projected next week, but then not so much after that. Valdez Scantling I missed, so I guess not a great deal of options at wide receiver, other than Olave at New Orleans, so he might be wide receiver 2 potentially. Is Olave out? I can't even remember. Might be a great option. Hopkins, maybe the last week to get on. You can see his break even, so that levels out after this week. Romo, the kicker at the Vikings, not sure what happened to their other kicker, but if he's got the job for the rest of the season, could be a nice way to get some extra cash. After that, Chase Brown still looking alright. Probably not elite. Probably not enough cash generation left to really consider him. So yeah, Jamar Chase -5 break even, so pretty handy. Interesting if you cash out in a couple of weeks. Obviously, he's an elite option, so I wouldn't have thought so. But yeah, other than that, nothing too jumps out on the negatives. Joe Burrow at -1 after his big 67-point game. Chuba Hubbard, again, sort of that awkward price, not quite elite, but in the negatives. So we get Dallas Cowboys defense, how the mighty have fallen, -7.4 mil this year, and the Dolphins in the same boat. So might be a couple of teams to target for 2025 defensively. Um, yeah, all right. Let's quickly swing it the other way, see if there's any must trade outs based on monster break evens. Baker had a bit of a down game on the bye, so probably could sideways to Lamar, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. If you've got that bit of extra cash, Christian McCaffrey's probably a sit and wait. So 26 in his first game back, break even of 71. Um, so it could be a very tasty sort of last upgrade at running back in a few weeks. CeeDee Lamb, he's going to probably fall in price, but given the downgrade at quarterback, wouldn't be that interested. So probably get rid of him if you haven't already. Um, Jonathan Taylor's a bit down, break even of 55. Um, I guess without Richardson there, there's no sort of competition for the running game. Not that there seemed to be before. JT still seemed to be getting a fair few touchdowns and stuff. So again, could be another interesting one in a couple of weeks if you're, a bit short on a Christian McCaffrey cash. Lots of running backs. So Deontay Johnson, not interested. You know, probably a few too many mouths to feed at the Ravens. Mike Evans is out. Brian Thomas, no, he's peaked. Get him, cash him out. Puka Nakua is an interesting one. 28 this week, so it could dip a bit more. Um, might be another one to even just sort of consider at that sideways sort of area this week. Jefferson's a hold. Henry's a hold. Lamar's a hold. 44's below his average anyway. Probably make cash this week. AJ Brown. Doesn't look like I've got him in, so at his price, break even could wait a week, but I think he's at the price where he could come in. After that, we're sort of getting to the stage where, the guns at this area are holds. Less thans, obviously get rid of at this point. So, in terms of my team, so quarterbacks sweet, running backs are sweet, tight ends are good, kickers, defense, I'm not too concerned with. So, obviously, these two spots at wide receiver are the concern. So, let's just trade them both out this week. And there we go. Yep, so 31K to spend. So as I said, if I switch it to average, you should see he slides up a bit more. But AJ Brown, six highest averaging, just missed a couple of games through injury. And at his price point, seems like a great option. So let's put him in. And then the other one, and I'm pretty sure I can't quite afford it. That's stiff. Nico Collins. Wanted to get him in, and then I saw the 17 and thought, yep, I'm in. But I've just missed by 380K. That is stiff. All right, well, maybe not. That would be the ideal play. Sounds like Collins is back this week. Um, so it could be worth a watch and see. Might have to be the strategy I go. But then the question is, do we just hold off on the trade for a week? Because realistically, I'm happy with Chase, Jefferson, Brown, St. Brown, sorry, and Brown. I have Nico Collins as top six. After that, Rashi Rice, Chris Godwin are out injured. So Cooper Cup sits number seven. Does have that job sharing with Nakua, but I think they both sort of do all right enough. And then you've got these guys sort of averaging 26s, 25 for Terry McLaurin. So yeah, there's no one sort of going to jump out of the fire here and make a lot of noise. I would have thought maybe Debo would take a flyer on if I was going to pick one. Um, could go JSN for that little bit of cash gen this week with his break even and then flip to Collins. Will cost me an extra trade. But just talking it through, bring in JSN this week, get that extra bit of cash. What's Collins break even? 19, so Collins could make a bit as well. So we'd have to sort of trust that the money that JSN's going to make. Let's have a look. We'll have to do some quick maths here. So projected to go up 2.3 mil, whereas Collins is projected to go up 700. So that's 1.6. What's JSN projected at? If we go back, there he is. Whoops. Not committing to it just yet. Hold your horses. Get back on my list. So that's based off of 23. So 2.3. So I mean, even if he walks out on the field, gets like a 2, something crazy, probably could, based on the difference, halve that to a million. And that could just about be the money. So you'd imagine he'd get a little bit more than that. I guess the only thing is just need to check if he's injured, but I don't think he is. So let's put him in. Obviously, I can change this. We've got till Friday morning. It's all good. So we'll make those two trades. And yeah, so only 6 trades left, which, we've got a lot of time to go. 8 weeks of the season. 7, I guess, if you discount this week because the trades are already locked in. But the way I look at it is if we do that upgrade next week, JSN up to Nico Collins, that gives us 5 trades to go. Basically, the team will be set, like happy with the running backs. Obviously, McCaffrey, if he can get back to full fitness, would be nice to include. Quarterbacks are sweet. We've talked about the others' positions, and now pretty happy with my wide receiver core. Obviously you'd love to have bench depth and that sort of thing, but I guess that's what the 2 injury trades are for. And like if a running back gets injured, I'll just play Achane, not an issue. Um, so if we run with this, 2 trades for injuries, that sort of thing, and then we should have 3 trades, so we can use even the boost in week 18 when a lot of teams start resting and playing, the kids to give them a go, that sort of crazy stuff that happens. We might need to potentially trade a couple of keepers around to try and maximise our final push overall. Head to head will be done by then, so it's purely that overall play. And while we want to win the head to head, and I might be tempted to use more trades if we have more injuries, ideally, that's the plan. So it could be some boring content the next few weeks in terms of this part. Obviously, I'll still try and run, through break evens, options, that sort of thing, even if I don't commit. But yeah, getting pretty close to a quote unquote finished team. So we'll wrap the video up there. Oh, actually, VCC options. So with Philadelphia playing on Thursday night, probably makes sense to VC Hurts, get a free look. Um, then Buffalo against Kansas City could be a little bit of a shootout. So, you know, Chiefs defense hasn't been amazing. It's done well enough. But it's probably been, the offense just does what it needs to do. So let's sort of see on Allen, unless we see something really nice. So Baltimore against Pittsburgh, so not Henry. Atlanta against Denver's pretty good defense, so not Bijan. Saquon plays in the same game, so that doesn't make sense. I think Cleveland's defense is generally pretty good, so not Kamara. Cincinnati against the Chargers. Well, Chase isn't going to score another 99. Let's be serious for a bit. Jefferson against the Titans. Yeah, average of 40. I don't think there's a safer option than Josh Allen, unless of course you have Lamar Jackson. Although again against Pittsburgh's defense, not the easiest, but they're both quality. So Hurts is VC if you've got him. If not, probably Saquon. Or AJ Brown. Just realised I've got the three big hitters. So whichever Philly asset you've got. If you've got Jaden Daniels, could have a poke at him at VC. And then, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, whoever your second quarterback is. Obviously, if you've got Hurts and Daniels as your two. Yeah, I like Jefferson probably against Tennessee. Detroit against Jacksonville, so maybe St. Brown. Or if you're feeling real interested, Laporta or Kelsey. But yeah, pretty happy with my setup. So we'll wrap the video up there. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them up below this video. Give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the NFL content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.